What is up YouTube, it's your boy SmackNPie here. Welcome back to part 2 of our Q&A recap series. This time we're going to talk about Prison Panic, aka Darkstar level. Not Darkstar level, but Darkstar level. And this is one of the most important videos. Why? Because we finally got our third Easter egg for that freaking frog of the Lincoln Look, which was Dark Deception Fortnite. But first, let's talk about the Q&A. We're going to talk about the Easter egg at the end of this video. Let's do this. So the question was, will Prison Panic be shown in the teaser trailer? They're talking about the teasers that are coming next in less than, well, almost a week now. We're finally going to get teaser 1, our first ever chapter 5 teaser 1. I hope they put a premiere so we can do a live reaction to it, a live stream and whatnot. But the answer was that the 2 upcoming teaser trailers for chapter 5 are cinematic trailers, not gameplay focused, and meant to set the atmosphere and the story. We've been talking about the theme and the thematic, narrative points rather than actual gameplay focused. Prison Panic's gameplay, however, will appear later in dedicated trailers. The first teaser, which is set to drop very soon, would hint at the story we've already seen, Doug Hauser, while the second would reveal more enemies and environments. We are so ready for it. The next question was, what's the most intimidating enemy in chapter 5? When said, all enemies are universally challenging for chapter 5, but specifically said about Darkstar. The Darkstar is his personal favorite. Why? Because of her level design. He said it's been very frustrating personally, and also said that there are some unannounced enemies that will rival her. Then somebody asked, will Darkstar have a mature or enemy girl voice, Mate! That's the only one I know because I've been watching Attack on Titan. Mate, that's the only one I know. Here, Eri. The way Mikasa. Mikasa is the best character in all of Attack on Titan. Fight me, but Mikasa! I know y'all are cringing right now, but this is like my voice acting audition. I think I'm gonna nail it. But, awkwardness aside, it was revealed that Adriana voices her with a higher pitch, which some might call anime-like, but it suits her youthful yet eerie persona. So it's not really overly cutesy high-pitched voice that you would usually see in anime, but it is high-pitched nonetheless, and it matches because of the Darkstar, her character design and whatnot. Then I was asked, what are Darkstar powers? If you can't answer, when is the Prison Panic vocal track is coming? We're going to talk about her power in just a second because it was kind of sort of revealed with the new teaser. But here in the Q&A he said he can't reveal, but her voice actor has recorded spoiler-heavy lines. That is why those tracks have not been released, because their lyrics are spoilers. And then the final question was, will Darkstar televise Prison Panic through the in-level TVs? Now this is a very interesting question, and I need you to focus on this because Vince here said you are really close. The Prison Panic concept art that you'll be seeing on your screen right now as we speak showed production equipment. When this was revealed, we thought that it's actually a prisoner being transferred to another. No. It's actually production equipment, hinting at a meta horror gimmick. Think the Truman Show with more screaming, he said, but I don't think a lot of you is gonna get it. So let me simplify this for y'all. A long time ago, there was a green screen. I hope I have that picture. That they were recording something, right? With the mocap and whatnot. So there is a theory running around that has something to do with the Prison Panic level. Think of it as meta, right? It's meta. Level within a level. Fiction within fiction. So it's not specifically that Darkstar would televise Prison Panic through in-level television, but it's something closer to it. So I'm going to leave the question to you guys. What do you think? But first, I want to talk about the 2 teasers real quick that were revealed and added in the Dark Deception Fortnite. So shout out to the Dark Deception community for providing the HD picture. There were 2 posters that were added in the Jojo Gang level, but the first one, as you can see, Survive, Carnival kind of ish with the Darkstar, and there's just so much going on. I wanted to make a separate video on it, but freak it, we're gonna do it here. So there's just so many details in here. The first thing I'm gonna talk about, the gloves, the hands, right? It's kind of like a puppeteering, but not really Puppet King. And of course, I have been avoiding that skeleton. The skeleton I'm gonna talk about in just a second, but Survive right here, right? It kind of adds mystique. If you've seen Hunger Games, right? The Deadly Games. Think of Squid Game, where they hype up these death games, right? The death shows where if the contestants, they are 100% gonna die, only one is gonna start, like Battle Royale and whatnot. So she's like Game Master. We talked about this in the past as well, but look at her hat. On it you would see a rose flower. We didn't think much of it at that time, but now there's some aura around it, some mystique around it. So that shows you that just like Puppet King controlling mannequins, she's also controlling and manifesting something. Skeletons, of course, but there's more to these skeletons. Okay, you got that? Let's look at the next poster right here. This hypes me up. Bam, ladies and gentlemen. There is so much in this one as well. First things first, it says execution time. A lot of you is just gonna go straight to her eyes and gonna say, this is the frenzy mode. Okay, let's suppose it is frenzy mode. First of all, this is one of the most sickest designs in all of Dark Deception combined. Let's hope they translate that well to the Dark Deception 3D. Second thing I want to talk about are these skeletons. We've been thinking about the fact that who's gonna be the prisoners? Like, what are gonna be the enemies? Now we know it's them zombies. Maybe not specifically zombies, but now we know a kind of sort of direction that the prison panic level is going towards. And now we know why Vince hides these teasers, because they kind of sort of give a little too much. Like these prisoners, these zombie prisoners, as you can see, I'm so excited for them to translate them into 3Ds. And you know, the Vince tweeted just yesterday, I think today, a couple hours ago, where he said like all these enhanced and even escape sequences in the Enhanced Plus as well as Chapter 5, they kind of sort of give you vibe like there's so many enemies added now on screen at once. They were before, but now there's so much more. And I'm so excited to see how their behavior is going to be. So could it be just like Puppet Mannequin? She would also be? At first I thought she would also like float around and whatnot, but then I realized because of the production equipment, because of the television, because of this specific level being, you know, in touch with modern time and whatnot, she doesn't need to be anywhere other than where she already is. And she's controlling everything through cameras, through monitors, through speakers. Her voice is coming to, because it's a game show, right? So now we know the enemies, the prisoners. Remember, there will be mortal prisoners as well, like there are human prisoners in the prison of the prison panic level that we'll actually get to meet and talk and hear and listen. What? It's gonna be so excited. I'm so ready for this. But I want to talk about one of the most biggest pieces of hint that we got. Look at our microphone. Look at our microphone, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna talk about the red dot because there's a lot to it, but zoom in and bright it up. Is that a freaking chainsaw around her microphone? That is a weapon, ladies and gentlemen. That is a weapon, ladies and gentlemen. So there is so much into both of these posters. We could easily say that this is the frenzy mode. For all we know, the skeleton in the first poster could easily be just trapped, and the prisoners and zombies in the second one are the actual enemies. It also might be possible that these skeletons without the prisoner uniform could be the actual enemy, whereas the prisoners could be the Zone 2 enemies. Or it could be one of them are actual enemies and the other one are traps, meaning that you pass by some of the prison bars, kind of a tripwire on some of them, and the prison bars open and you get these skeletons of prisoners. Again, these are not the only enemies in these levels. I have been convinced for a long time now there are so many monsters and enemies in each level other than what we've already seen. Like, mannequins aren't the only enemies in the mannequins level. Just like this, Darkstar and prisoners or zombies and skeletons in this one aren't the only enemies. And for all we know, this could be just metaphoric. There could be actual monsters with little designs like this being translated to 3D with actual flesh of zombies, an actual like wood creature that we've seen. I'm just giving an example, not the actual wood creature. This is like JoJo Gang of Chapter 5, the JoJo Gang level. And I think compared to JoJo Gang level, I think this is gonna far exceed everybody's expectations, and I, ladies and gentlemen, am here for it. This is what I have for you in this video. What do you guys think? Are you now excited? Because I know I am. This has been a phenomenal month for us, Darkstar. Last 30 days or so. Darkstar Fortnite, Darkstar teasers, Chapter 5 teaser, Archive teaser, Chapter 5 teaser, 01 teaser, and now this. All our years of patience are now finally paying off. It's been worth it. And Chapter 5 hasn't even been out. Enhanced Plus isn't even out. Chapter 2 isn't even out, and I'm already saying it's gonna be worth it. It's already been worth it. Suits from 100 kills.